Welcome back, everybody. I'm starting with the Easter egg scenes I mentioned in my last episode. If as Terra you explore just north of this table before making the decision about whether to help the returners or not, when you have the council meeting, Banon will find the piece of paper, and watch Terra's expression here. Ha. And it adds that little extra sequence. And that's something that you only get if you do find the piece of paper and choose to leave it there. So, continuing on, obviously I'm continuing with my playthrough of Final Fantasy VI Advance, and we found out at the end of my last episode that the Empire was heading over to our hideout. So we need to get out of here as quickly as possible. And so our way of doing that is to escape down the Lethe River on a raft. So we get now full control of our party again. And since I do have some extra equipment and relics, since I stripped Locke of his, I'm going to make sure everyone here is optimally equipped. Now, one thing you can do that I haven't mentioned before is if you press left twice when looking at equipment, you can see everybody's equipment at the same time. And it also lets you see the equipment of characters that are guests in your party that you wouldn't normally be able to do that for. So I have a few new relics here, and I kind of have to decide who I want to put them on. Now, in general, the white cape is best for Terra, so I am going to put that on her. And I kind of have to mix out the rest of these with my other characters. There are some characters coming up, some enemies that I'll be fighting that can cause the dark status effect. And unlike the original version of this game, the dark status effect is not bugged. So when you are blinded, it does affect your ability to hit enemies. So here we go. We have the raft, we have the river, and we are on our way to Narshe. We have to keep in mind that Banon is the key for some reason. You would think Terra is the key. But if Banon does get killed in battle, we automatically lose, and we get a game over. So we're going to be facing a lot of different groups here of enemies on the river. And in general, good strategies, confusion, so that the enemies attack each other. And whenever enemies are confused, you can use magic attacks without them losing that status ailment. Each time Banon's turn comes up, you should pray, which is the old health command. And this is a great power. It heals your entire party for a couple hundred HP, and you can do it every turn. So it is a cheap, free heal. Now you're going to come to a couple different intersections. I always choose the left. If you choose a different path, usually what will happen is you'll end up sent around different paths in the river, and most of the time you'll end up back where you started. And so you'll just have to end up fighting a whole bunch of extra enemies. In general, good skills to use. I've talked quite a bit about Edgar, so you're going to want to use the auto crossbow, his confusion. You can use his bioblaster, which is actually classed as a magic attack. And with Sabin, in general, just use the aura bolt. It is his strongest attack. You're going to go through 2 caves on this river, each with a save point, give you a chance to rest and recharge. I'm doing pretty well so far, so I don't need to recover anything. So we're coming to the second path split up here, and again, I'm going to go left. Now, back in the day, I did have the original Nintendo Power official Final Fantasy III strategy guide, and in that guide, they mentioned that the upcoming path switch here is a great place to earn levels early in the game. If you go into the configure screen and put your commands to memorize, and set it up so that all of your characters are physically attacking and Banon is healing each turn, what will happen is if you tape down your controller then in the up position and the confirm button, you'll continue to go around in a circle fighting enemies, and you'll find after some time that your characters will gain a lot of levels. Now, I mentioned earlier that it's not really that helpful to gain levels this early on. And again, once we get to the point in the game where that's relevant, I will talk more about that. Sabin did get blinded there, so if I would try to attack with physical attacks, he would have a penalty to his accuracy. But in the original game, it was bugged, and all it really did was give your characters sunglasses. But I can use relics to get rid of it, so I'm going to use the silver spectacles or the old goggles to do so. So we are almost done with the Lethe River. We just have a little bit farther to go, and then we will be facing our next boss. Hopefully, we can get through this next little waterfall area without getting attacked. I don't know if I would want to go over a waterfall on a raft. Maybe that's just me. And here is the introduction of another reoccurring enemy. This is Ultros. And he is going to show up at numerous points in the game and in general be a thorn in our sides. So, this is a semi-dangerous fight. Ultros occasionally will do 2 attacks in a row, and he has a tentacle attack, which he can hit one member of the party with or all members of your party. And he is known in the past, I have had situations where he will hit the whole party with the tentacle and then hit Banon with it, killing him. And then I lose. Hopefully that won't happen here. He does have an auto counterattack to various skills and abilities. If you use fire on him, he yells here, seafood soup. And then he counters with ink. And occasionally, if you use a auto crossbow or an aura bolt, he will counter with a tentacle attack. So, just use your strongest attacks here. And heal each turn with Banon. It's basically a battle of attrition. If you're especially concerned about Banon, one of the things you can do is equip the Knight's Code. And what that does is it acts as a cover command for whoever has it equipped as a relic. So you can actually have one of your characters like Edgar or Sabin on standby to cover a character who might be in danger. So that way, if Banon does get hit twice in a row, whoever has the Knight's Code on will jump in the way and take the second hit. And there we go. This crazy music. Edgar kind of overreacts here. Terra, get away from there! Sabin tends to be a little eccentric sometimes, as we're going to see here. He wants to blitz underwater. I'm not sure how well that would work. Although, small spoiler, we will find out in more depth about that later in the game. Oh, well, that's good. Whoa! Not quite as you predicted, Banon. I like Edgar's line in the original better. Take care of yourself, as opposed to you're on your own. That sounds kind of dismissive. So, I mentioned last episode that we have a major split of our party, and that's where we're at in the storyline. We have 3 independent story paths to follow here, and we get to choose which ones we want to do and in what order. So we have Locke trying to infiltrate South Figaro. We have Terra, Edgar, and Banon trying to get back into Narshe. And Sabin is off on his own, and we have to kind of get him back to Narshe as well. So we get to save with Mog here. You see he's at level 15, pretty powerful. And choose which we want to do. The Banon scenario is the easiest and the quickest, so I tend to start with that one. All you have to do is finish up the Lethe River, which can be a little bit more difficult. We don't have Edgar or... Oh, we do still have Edgar, sorry. We don't have Sabin anymore. But we still do have Banon, so it's just about waiting out the enemies and beating them up. And you still have to watch out, because if Banon does die, even during this sequence, you will get a game over. Now, there is another Easter egg sequence back at the Returner's hideout that I forgot to show you, of course. I will add it to the end of the video. But basically what happens is once you get your full party back together before getting on the raft, if you go back to the room where Terra was when she woke up, then you will find that soldier who collapsed telling you about the Empire attacking South Figaro. And there's a reaction that occurs out of that. And so, like I said, I will add that on to the end of this video. So this should look semi-familiar. We're just south of Narshe here. So we need to get into the town. Let's go through the frontier. Uh-oh. They are not too happy to see us. I wonder why. Ooh, that's an old man. He's the king. Yeah, I'm not sure if I was one of the guards I would believe that either. It's not like he has a crown or 100 soldiers with him. Kind of suspicious. So we have to find a way into Narshe. And those of you that remember our path out of Narshe from earlier in the game might already know where we need to go. But for those of you that don't, we will find out how to get back in my next episode. So I'm going to do a quick, well, not a quick, a save here. And I will show you that Easter egg sequence. And that will be it for this episode. So, as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.